so extremely lucky for my March TBR. That was cheesy. I'm so sorry. I'm going away. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Jessie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about all the books that I have planned for the month of March. So if you are new to my monthly TBRs, this year I decided to always have a goal of 10 books. And so this month I do have more than 10 books. However, I'm kind of like cheating it just ever so slightly because I am participating in a readathon, which I'll get to first, and then we'll get into the books. If you like content like this, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe because it always supports my channel, and I put out videos at least once a week. So like I mentioned, I am participating in a readathon actually this weekend, which is March 3rd through the 4th, I believe. It is like a 24-hour graphic novel readathon. It's called the Let's Get Graphic, and some of my friends, which are Gwen, Keisha, and Elizabeth, are all participating. I will leave the readathon information in the description in case you're curious, as well as the creators' channels as well. But it is essentially a 24-hour readathon with graphic novels, manga, comics. I believe that covers everything, but I could be wrong. So there are some reading prompts like a one-word title, your favorite color palette, and an animal on the cover or in the story, such things like that. I am actually not heavily focusing on the prompts necessarily. I do have quite a bit of holds for graphic novels at my library, so I'm really hoping they come in before the readathon, but I will show you the 4 that I definitely am planning on reading for this readathon. So the first one I have is Ceces Journal, and I believe this is volume 1 and 2 like put together. At least that's how it kind of sounded. Sorry about that, but it sounded like on my library's website that this is volumes 1 and 2. So I do have Ceces Journal. It just says the adventures of a writer in training. So I'm not 100% sure what this book is about. I'm trying to go into these graphic novels a little bit blind, but I believe this is about a girl named Cece, and she goes on an adventure and she's wanting to also be a journalist. But this has some really cute like warm tone palettes and things like that. Ooh, yeah, okay, so this is part 2, Hector's book. And this first one is The Petrified Zoo, I guess. So I guess it is 2 volumes in 1, but I plan on reading this one. I've heard a lot of buzz about this from Gwen and Keisha, so hopefully they're buzzing good things. All right, then the next 3 are actually a whole series, so I hope I like them. Otherwise, I've checked out all 3. But I have Lore Olympus volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. So my library had all 3, so I went ahead and just jumped out on all 3 of them. But I am really hoping I like this one because I think this would be considered my favorite color palette. Yeah, like I would say like this one has like a lot of pinks and blues and purples, and I feel like those are like my favorite color palettes. I'm very new to graphic novels. Like I like them, however I'm just very picky of like what I want to pick up. But I think this is a forbidden love story between Persephone and Hades. That's all I really know. I've also been told this is kind of like darker, more adult content. So if you needed to know that, there you go. I think there's also an author's note. So there's like mental abuse, sexual trauma, and toxic relationships. So just so you know. Yeah, so far these are the 4 books that I would like to read for that 24-hour readathon. I feel like I could easily fly through these. So for my monthly challenge, I'm actually considering these 4 books as 1 book. So I have 9 more on my TBR, so hopefully I can get to all of them. All right, so moving into novels, I have The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. This is the Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick for the month of March. We will have my live show towards the end of the month. I have the date written here on the screen, but it will also be co-hosted with my friend Jordan from Sorry Book Solid. And I'm so excited because I know she loved Reckless Girls. I'm not sure her feelings on The Wife Upstairs, but I loved The Wife Upstairs. And I liked Reckless Girls for the most part, but it wasn't like an all-time favorite. So I'm really hoping The Villa is one that we'll both enjoy, or at least have things to discuss. So, and it feels like a really short book as well. This one just says, a wicked gothic suspense set at an Italian villa with a dark history for fans of Lucy Foley and Ruth Ware. I also think I heard there was like music elements, or this like, I don't know why I heard music. I love the whole like aspect of an Italian villa as well as like a gothic suspense. So I'm really hoping that we both love it, and make sure you check out the Discord for Sleep When I'm Dead, because we are discussing it all month long whenever we start reading it. So if you are interested, make sure you pick up a copy from your library or your local bookstore, and yeah, join us for the live show. All right, and then the next set of books, these are ones that I kind of have like content video plans for. I'm not going to give out too much, but I just wanted to kind of let you know these are more higher on my priority list. The first book I have is The House in the Pines by Anya Reyes. I'm super excited for this one because I kind of have like a very interesting and different like plan for this one. So I'm really excited, but my lips are sealed. I'm not saying anything. So stay tuned for that. But this one just says, a shocking debut thriller about the subtlety of memory and manipulation in which a young woman must find a way back to her New England cabin armed with only hazy, haunting memories, and finally uncover the truth that could save her. So I think this has that trope like where a traumatic event happened when she was like a teenager, and now like years later she has to go back, you know, that very common trope. So I'm really excited to read this one, and I'm really excited for the video plans with this one. All right, the next set, I'll go ahead and let you know like the general plans of this one, but I want to read some more dark academia reads. So I have these two that I'm really excited to talk about. The first one I have is the Temple House Vanishing by Rachel Donahue. Like, first of all, can we just take a moment to appreciate this cover? Stunning. Oh, interesting. Okay, this one says, an Irish bookseller and finalist for the Irish Book Awards Newcomer of the Year. Interesting. So my friend Gwen has this 12-month reading challenge for her podcast, and for the month of March it was to read a book by an Irish author or an Irish setting and stuff like that. So I was really worried that I was not going to have one, but now I do. Interesting. So I think this one has like that like boarding school, but like also like a taboo like teacher-student relationship, and something happened, someone went missing. So I'm really excited to read this one, especially now that I know it might be potentially an Irish author. And then I also have If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, I think is the author's name. I can't really read this font, so hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Also, sorry for the glare, but this is my library's copy. But I'm wanting to read more, like I said, dark academia, because I want to kind of dive more into that and see if that's something I'm more interested in. Let's see. On the day Oliver Marks is released from jail, the man who put him there is waiting at the door. Detective Claiborne wants to know the truth, and after 10 years, Oliver is finally ready to tell it. 10 years ago, Oliver was one of 7 young Shakespearean actors, at a place of keen ambition and fierce competition. Ooh, that's all I'm gonna say. So sounds really dark, sounds really good. So hopefully these two will be some good, you know, picks for dark academia. The next book I have is actually The Last Word by Taylor Adams. Thank you so much to William Morrow for the advanced readers copy. I'm really excited to read this one because duh, it's Taylor Adams, and No Exit's one of my favorite thrillers. I'm so excited to read this one because I know No Exit is still one of my all-time favorite thrillers, but also Hairpin Bridge was kind of a flop for me. So I'm really excited to give him another chance, and hopefully this one is just as good. And this one sounds so interesting, especially for anyone who is a reader. This says, after posting a negative review, a woman living in a remote location begins to wonder if the author is a little touchy or very, very dangerous in the pulse-pounding novel of a psychological suspense and terror from the critically acclaimed author of No Exit. So I know all of us are readers. We all love to post our honest reviews. I did start the book a little bit. That's why I have this like bookmark in here, but she ends up like reading a book and gives it a bad review and the author is not happy. So I'm really excited for this one, so I definitely want to read this one. And the last set of books are just 4 books that I want to potentially read and get to the end. So I'm going to start with the one that I actually put on my February TBR. I never got around to it, but it is Every Last Secret by A.R. Torre. This one is about 2 women. One of them has like the perfect life, one of them doesn't, and one of them wants the other person's life. So I think it's that like domestic psychological thriller that everyone loves. I did mention this in my February TBR. I just never got around to reading it, so I did bump it up to March, so I won't spend too much time on this one, so hopefully it's a good one. The next one I want to talk about is Set on You by Amy Lee. For the month of February, I hosted a readathon called X's and O's, and we read the sequel to this one called X's and O's, which you don't have to read them in order. But my friend Gwen and Summer read this book and they absolutely loved it and said this one was a lot better than X's and O's, even though we all generally enjoyed X's and O's. So I went ahead, I purchased it, I'm putting it on my TBR, so this will probably be the only romance on my TBR, so I'm really excited to read this one. From what Summer and Gwen have told me, this is about a curvy fitness influencer and basically someone else at the gym. It's kind of like that, like enemies to lovers, but like it's not enemies to lovers. I think what it is, it's like they always show up at the gym at the same time, and yet like he takes some of her equipment. It kind of starts like a little bit of a banter. So I'm really excited about this one, so hopefully Gwen and Summer won't let me down. The next one is a library copy. I'm really hoping to read this one because I want to read more of Rachel Harrison's books, and I've heard nothing but great things about Such Sharp Teeth. I don't want to go into this book knowing too much. I just know it's about a woman who may think she's turning into a werewolf, but maybe she's not. I've also heard there's a lot of like funny elements out of this. I read Cackle and really liked that one, so I'm hoping this one is just as good. I know I've mentioned her a lot, but my friend Gwen has her own podcast and she did an author interview with Kirsten Modulin, and just getting to know the author a little bit better just makes me want to read more of her books. So I do have one that's on my TBR that I have not picked up yet. I've put it on my TBR before but just never got around to it. But this one is Tell Me the Truth by Kirsten Modulin. When she finds photos of a mysterious woman on her husband's phone, the heartbreaking implications are too familiar, and Edith sets out to discover her identity. What starts as a desperate search for answers quickly becomes a terrifying spiral of obsession. Sounds really good. I'm hoping I love this one because I've had a few hits and I've had a few misses by this author, so hopefully this one is a hit. All right guys, those are all the books that I have planned to read for the month of March. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you hit that description box so that way you can check out information on the Sleep When I'm Dead book club, as well as the information for the Let's Get Graphic Readathon, because it does start this weekend. And yeah. And again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any other bookish videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest